Steve Harvey walked off Family Feud when a contestant insulted his faith. In that pivotal moment, the lively atmosphere of the game show evaporated, replaced by a stunned silence that underscored the impact of the words spoken. This incident was not just a walk-off. It ignited a fierce conversation about faith, dignity, and the importance of standing up for one's beliefs. As we delve into this unforgettable moment, we will uncover how one man's words challenged the very essence of respect and belief in a public forum. Get ready, because this story is a powerful testament to the courage it takes to defend your values, even in the face of adversity. The lights of the Family Feud set blazed brightly, illuminating a stage that had become a symbol of family entertainment for millions. The familiar theme music played, filling the studio with an infectious energy that resonated with the audience. Families from all walks of life had gathered, each group brimming with excitement and anticipation, eager to showcase their knowledge and compete for the coveted grand prize. The audience buzzed with chatter and laughter, creating an atmosphere that felt almost festive, like a family reunion where everyone was invited. At the center of this vibrant scene stood Steve Harvey, the charismatic host whose presence had become synonymous with the show. Known for his quick wit, infectious laughter, and genuine warmth, Steve had a unique ability to connect with contestants and viewers alike. He welcomed everyone with open arms, saying, "Welcome to Family Feud. Are you ready to have some fun?" The crowd erupted into applause, their enthusiasm palpable as they cheered for their favorite families and prepared for a night of friendly competition and entertainment. As the first family took the stage, the contestants introduced themselves, sharing light-hearted anecdotes that highlighted their personalities and the bonds they shared. Their stories filled the room with laughter and camaraderie, setting the tone for a night of fun. Steve engaged with them, his banter effortless and lively, as he exchanged jokes and playful jabs that created a warm and inviting atmosphere. It was a typical night on Family Feud, filled with smiles, laughter, and the thrill of competition. However, beneath the surface of this jovial occasion, tensions began to simmer. One contestant, a man in his mid-30s named Marcus, quickly distinguished himself, not just for his competitive spirit, but for his brash demeanor. Unlike his fellow contestants, who embraced the lightheartedness of the game, Marcus approached the competition with an intensity that bordered on aggression. His confidence emanated from him like a force field, but it was laced with an arrogance that made some in the audience exchange wary glances. As the game progressed, the questions posed by Steve flowed smoothly, eliciting laughter and friendly rivalry. The playful banter between the host and contestants created a lively exchange, with Steve expertly navigating the interactions and infusing humor into every moment. Yet, as the rounds unfolded, Marcus's comments began to take a darker turn. He scoffed at his opponent's answers and belittled their responses with a smirk that made viewers uncomfortable. Each derisive laugh seemed to echo in the studio, creating a palpable tension that contrasted sharply with the otherwise cheerful environment. The playful banter took on a new tone as the game neared its pivotal moments. The stakes were high, and the atmosphere electrified with anticipation. As the final rounds approached, Marcus, determined to secure victory, showed no signs of backing down. His intensity escalated, and the audience could feel an undercurrent of unease. Steve, ever the professional, maintained his cool demeanor, but a hint of concern flickered in his eyes. He sensed the growing tension and wondered how far Marcus might take it. As the questions became increasingly challenging, Marcus's bravado only intensified. He began to make pointed comments, not just about the game, but also about the contestants' backgrounds and beliefs. The playful spirit of Family Feud seemed to teeter on the edge of something more serious. The atmosphere in the studio shifted from light-hearted fun to a heightened sense of drama, setting the stage for an unprecedented confrontation that would not only define the episode, but also spark a nationwide conversation about faith, respect, and the importance of standing up for one's beliefs. With each passing moment, the audience held their breath, sensing that a breaking point was near. The excitement of the game was overshadowed by an impending clash of values, and viewers across the nation were about to witness a confrontation that would resonate far beyond the studio. What started as a simple game show was evolving into a powerful statement about the courage it takes to defend one's beliefs, even in the face of adversity. As the game continued, the tension in the studio reached a boiling point. The atmosphere, once filled with laughter and light-hearted competition, now crackled with anticipation. The audience, initially excited, was now on edge, their excitement overshadowed by an unease that hung thick in the air. Steve, ever the skilled host, tried to keep the mood light, but he could sense that something was brewing beneath the surface. Marcus, emboldened by the stakes and the cameras focused on him, began to make remarks that crossed the line from playful rivalry to blatant disrespect. As the game entered its final rounds, the questions became more personal, and the contestants were forced to dig deeper into their own experiences and beliefs. On this particular night, the question posed by Steve was straightforward yet profound. Name something you believe in strongly. As the answers rolled in, love, family, honesty, Marcus's turn approached. When it was finally his time to respond, he leaned into the microphone with an air of bravado, his expression shifting from competitive to confrontational. I believe in nothing but what I can see and prove, he declared, a smirk creeping onto his face. Faith is just a crutch for the weak. The words hung in the air, heavy and charged, as a collective gasp swept through the audience. Steve's smile faltered momentarily, and the tension in the room escalated. He had heard many things over the years, but this was different. It wasn't just a comment about a game. It was an attack on something deeply personal. The atmosphere shifted as the audience collectively held their breath, waiting for Steve's response. Okay, hold on a second, Steve said, his voice steady but laced with disappointment. You can't disrespect people's beliefs like that. Everyone has something they hold dear, and it's not right to belittle that. He paused, searching Marcus's face for any sign of understanding. This is supposed to be fun, man. We're here to celebrate family and faith, not tear each other down. Marcus, undeterred and eager to escalate the confrontation, leaned in closer. Why should I respect something that doesn't even make sense? It's all fairy tales and made-up stories. His voice rose, challenging Steve and the audience to take sides. The studio was filled with murmurs of disapproval, and the tension was palpable. Steve took a deep breath, attempting to regain control of the situation. Listen, I get it. You've got your beliefs, and you're entitled to them. But you're also on a show that's about togetherness and respect. There's no need to attack what other people cherish. His demeanor shifted. The light-hearted host was now speaking as a man who understood the weight of his words. In that moment, the audience could see the shift in Steve's attitude, from a jovial game show host to a defender of values. It was clear that this was not just about a game anymore. It was about something much deeper. The studio fell silent, every eye glued to the unfolding drama. As the confrontation escalated, Steve, feeling the weight of the moment, made a decision that shocked everyone. You know what? I can't do this. I won't stand here and let you disrespect people's beliefs." With that, he turned away from Marcus and walked off the stage, leaving the audience and contestants in stunned silence. The cameras captured the moment, and viewers at home were left reeling. This was not the typical exit for a game show host. It was a powerful statement. Steve's departure was more than just a walk-off. It was a bold declaration of his values and a refusal to entertain disrespect. The show's producers scrambled to regain control, but the moment had already become iconic. As the audience sat in shock, the conversation that Steve had ignited began to unfold. Social media erupted with reactions, and viewers across the nation found themselves discussing the implications of faith, respect, and the courage to stand up for what you believe in. This incident would resonate far beyond the confines of the studio, sparking debates and conversations that would last for days, if not weeks. As Steve exited the stage, the studio fell into a stunned silence, a heavy blanket of shock enveloping the audience and crew alike. The vibrant energy that had characterized the show moments earlier was replaced by an uneasy stillness, as if the collective breath of everyone present had been held in disbelief. The audience, taken aback by his abrupt departure, exchanged bewildered glances, unsure of how to respond to the sudden turn of events. Some whispered among themselves, replaying the confrontation in their minds, while others looked toward the production team, anxious to see how they would manage the fallout from the incident. The cameras continued to roll, capturing the palpable tension that filled the room, broadcasting it to millions of viewers at home. Backstage, Steve took a moment to collect his thoughts, leaning against the cool metal of a production wall. The adrenaline from the confrontation still coursed through his veins, and he felt the weight of his decision bearing down on him. He had been in the entertainment industry long enough to know that moments like this could define a career. But this was different. It was about standing up for values that mattered. The pressure of the situation was intense, but Steve knew he had done the right thing. He had always believed that a platform like Family Feud was not just about games and prizes. It was about fostering a sense of community and respect among diverse beliefs. Meanwhile, the production team scrambled to regain control of the show. The assistant director rushed onto the stage, her expression a mix of concern and urgency, trying to fill the void left by Steve's absence. "All right, folks, let's take a quick break while we sort things out," she announced, her voice steady but tinged with anxiety. The audience, still processing the shocking turn of events, began to murmur, their chatter growing louder as they speculated about what had just happened. Some expressed their support for Steve, while others were curious about Marcus's reaction to the sudden shift in dynamics. Marcus, still on stage, sensed the shift in the atmosphere. He had expected to dominate the conversation, to bask in the spotlight of his bold declarations. But now, he was left standing alone, the weight of his words hanging heavily in the air. As the production team hurried around him, he attempted to downplay the situation, shrugging off the backlash as if it were a mere inconvenience. "I just said what everyone was thinking," he muttered, trying to project an air of confidence. But even he could feel the tension radiating from the audience, a collective disapproval that began to seep into his bravado. The cheers that had initially accompanied his responses were now replaced with murmurs of discontent and disappointment. Backstage, Steve was inundated with questions from producers and crew members who had witnessed the confrontation. "Steve, are you okay?" one producer asked, concern etched on her face. "What just happened out there?" Steve took a deep breath, seeking to articulate his feelings amidst the chaos. "I'm fine, but I couldn't stay up there and let him disrespect people's faith. This show is about family and respect. I won't be a part of something that undermines that." The producers nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. They had seen Steve navigate countless challenges over the years. But this was different. It was a moment that transcended entertainment. It was about integrity and the values that Steve had always championed. As they discussed how to address the audience and the viewers at home, social media began to explode with reactions to the incident. Across platforms, viewers expressed a wide range of opinions. Many praised Steve for his stand against disrespect, applauding him for prioritizing principles over entertainment. Finally, someone said it. One tweet read, encapsulating the sentiments of many who felt marginalized by dismissive remarks about their beliefs. "Thank you, Steve, for standing up for our beliefs." Others, however, criticized Marcus, questioning how he had been allowed to voice such disrespectful opinions on a family-oriented show. The hashtag #RespectFaith began to trend, with people sharing personal stories of faith, resilience, and the importance of respect in public discourse. As the break came to an end, the production team reconvened in the studio, preparing to face the audience once more. The audience, still buzzing with excitement and confusion, was eager to hear what would happen next. The assistant director stepped back onto the stage, attempting to restore a sense of normalcy amidst the chaos. "Thank you for your patience, everyone. We're going to take a moment to regroup, and we appreciate your understanding," she said, her voice trying to convey reassurance. Just then, Steve returned to the stage, his expression resolute, but softened by a hint of vulnerability. The audience erupted in applause, their appreciation for his presence palpable. Thank you," he said, raising his hands for silence. "I appreciate all of you being here tonight. I just want to take a moment to address what happened." The studio quieted, and all eyes were on him. What we do here is more than just a game. It's about coming together, sharing our differences, and respecting one another. He began, his voice steady and filled with conviction. "I believe that everyone has the right to their beliefs, and it's crucial that we create an environment of respect, even when we disagree. Faith is personal, and it deserves to be honored." The audience responded with cheers and applause, many standing in support of his message. Steve continued, "I won't shy away from standing up for what I believe in, and I encourage you all to do the same. We can disagree without being disrespectful. Let's keep this show about family and love." The atmosphere in the studio shifted once again, the tension dissipating as the audience rallied behind Steve's heartfelt message. As they applauded, many wiped away tears of appreciation, moved by his sincerity and his willingness to stand up for what was right. The game resumed, but the impact of the encounter lingered, not just in the studio, but in the hearts and minds of viewers across the nation. The conversation about faith, respect, and the importance of standing firm in one's beliefs had only just begun, and it would resonate long after the credits rolled. In the days that followed, news outlets picked up the story, turning it into a national conversation about faith, respect, and the role of media in shaping public discourse. Interviews with Steve dominated morning talk shows, where he emphasized the importance of compassion and understanding in an increasingly polarized world. "We may not always agree," he said during one interview, "but we must always strive to treat each other with respect. That's what makes us human." Viewers continued to share their thoughts online, expressing gratitude for the stand Steve had taken. Many felt empowered to speak out against disrespect in their own lives, inspired by the example set on that fateful night. The fallout from the incident had transformed into a movement, encouraging a broader dialogue about tolerance and the significance of honoring one another's beliefs. As the show continued to air, the producers made a point to highlight families with diverse backgrounds and beliefs, reinforcing the message that Family Feud was a platform for unity and understanding. The incident had sparked a change not only in the show, but in the hearts of its viewers, reminding everyone that even in the realm of entertainment, there is room for compassion, respect, and dialogue. In the weeks following the dramatic incident on Family Feud, the ramifications of Steve's stand resonated far beyond the confines of the television screen. The show experienced an unprecedented surge in viewership as audiences flocked to witness the unfolding narrative surrounding faith, respect, and the power of standing up for one's beliefs. Ratings soared to record highs, and Family Feud became a focal point for discussions about values in today's society, bridging gaps between generations and encouraging dialogue among communities. Social media platforms buzzed with reactions and opinions, and the hashtag #RespectFaith continued to trend, igniting conversations across various forums and discussions. Viewers shared their own experiences of faith, recounting moments when they had felt marginalized or ridiculed for their beliefs. Many expressed gratitude for Steve's courage to confront disrespect in such a public way, seeing in him a beacon of hope and a voice for the voiceless. The stories poured in, painting a vivid tapestry of personal struggles and triumphs, all connected by a shared desire for respect and understanding. In the wake of the incident, the producers of Family Feud made a concerted effort to steer the show in a new direction. They began featuring families from diverse backgrounds, each with unique beliefs and stories that highlighted the richness of the human experience, emphasizing the importance of understanding and respect. The producers carefully curated segments that focused on the contestants' values and the significance of family ties. The show's format was subtly adjusted to incorporate themes of unity and compassion, with Steve often taking a moment during episodes to reflect on the importance of faith and love, regardless of the differences that may exist among people. Behind the scenes, Steve found himself in high demand for interviews. Journalists sought his insights on the intersection of faith and entertainment, eager to understand his perspective on the implications of the incident. During these interviews, he spoke passionately about the need for empathy in public discourse. "We live in a time where people are quick to judge and dismiss others," he stated in one interview, his voice filled with conviction. "But we have to remember that everyone's story is valid, and everyone deserves respect, especially when it comes to their beliefs." His words resonated with many, further solidifying his position as a champion for respect and understanding. As the conversation surrounding the incident evolved, many media outlets began to explore the broader societal implications of faith in contemporary culture. Panel discussions emerged, featuring theologians, sociologists, and public figures who weighed in on the importance of faith and the necessity of respectful dialogue in a diverse society. Steve frequently participated in these discussions, lending his voice to the conversation and reinforcing the idea that media can play a crucial role in promoting understanding. He emphasized that the world needed more platforms like Family Feud, where differences could be celebrated rather than dismissed. However, not everyone was supportive of Steve's stance. Critics emerged who questioned whether a game show was the appropriate platform for such serious discussions. Some argued that entertainment should remain separate from the weighty issues of faith and personal belief. "This is just a game show," one critic opined in a popular column. "Why should we bring faith into it?" Yet, Steve remained unfazed by the criticism. "If we can't have these conversations in places where people gather for fun, then where can we?" he asked during a particularly heated segment on a popular talk show. His passion resonated with many, further solidifying his position as a champion for respect and understanding. as the season progressed, the show continued to thrive, and the atmosphere in the studio became increasingly warm and inviting. Contestants appeared more engaged, and families shared heartfelt stories that often moved the audience to tears. Steve's interactions with the contestants were marked by a genuine interest in their lives, and he often encouraged them to share their beliefs and values openly. This shift not only enhanced the show's appeal, but also created an environment where respect and compassion flourished. Each episode felt like a celebration of diversity, with families from various backgrounds coming together to share their unique perspectives. In one particularly memorable episode, a family shared their story of overcoming adversity through faith. They recounted how their community had rallied around them during difficult times, offering support and encouragement. As they spoke, the audience listened intently, captivated by their resilience and the love that bound them together. The emotional depth of their story resonated throughout the studio, creating a sense of unity among everyone present. At the end of their segment, Steve looked at the camera and said, "This is what it's all about, folks. No matter where you come from or what you believe, family is everything. Let's celebrate that." The audience erupted in applause, and the atmosphere felt charged with a renewed sense of community, as if everyone present had been reminded of the fundamental values that connect them all. As the season finale approached, the producers decided to do something special to honor the transformative journey that had unfolded on the show. They organized a charity special, inviting families from past episodes to return and participate in a night dedicated to raising funds for organizations that support faith-based initiatives and community outreach programs. The event was designed to highlight the show's commitment to fostering unity and understanding among diverse groups. It was an opportunity for the show to give back to the community and reinforce the message that love and respect transcend all barriers. On the night of the charity special, the studio was filled with excitement and anticipation. Bright lights illuminated the stage, and families filled the audience, each one eager to share their story and support the cause. Steve opened the show with a heartfelt message that set the tone for the evening. Tonight, we're not just playing games. We're coming together to make a difference. We're here to celebrate love, respect, and the things that truly unite us. As he spoke, the cameras panned across the audience, capturing smiles, tears, and nods of agreement. The atmosphere was electric, fueled by a shared commitment to fostering understanding in a world that often felt divided. As the evening progressed, laughter and tears intertwined, creating an unforgettable atmosphere of connection and hope. Families shared their stories of resilience, struggles, and triumphs, each narrative reflecting the beauty of diversity and the strength that comes from unity. The audience was moved as they witnessed firsthand the profound impact of compassion and understanding. Steve skillfully navigated the emotions of the night, often pausing to reflect on the importance of each story and encouraging the audience to consider how they could contribute to building a more respectful world. The charity event was a resounding success, raising significant funds for various organizations dedicated to promoting understanding and respect among different faiths and cultures. The outpouring of support from viewers and participants alike was a testament to the profound impact that Steve's stand had made. It was clear that the conversation surrounding faith and respect had struck a chord, igniting a movement beyond the walls of the studio. The success of the charity event reinforced the idea that when people come together for a common cause, they can achieve remarkable things. As the credits rolled on the final episode of the season, Steve reflected on the journey that had unfolded. He had not only navigated the complexities of television, but also helped spark a vital conversation about respect and understanding in an increasingly polarized world. Standing on the stage, he looked out at the audience and smiled, knowing that the impact of that one pivotal moment would continue to resonate far beyond the confines of Family Feud. The show had transformed into a platform for dialogue and healing, bridging divides and fostering connections among individuals from all walks of life. In the days that followed, Steve received numerous messages of appreciation from viewers and fans who felt inspired by his actions. Many shared how his courage had encouraged them to stand up for their own beliefs and to foster respect in their communities. The movement that had begun with one man's decision to walk away had blossomed into a chorus of voices advocating for understanding and compassion. It was a reminder that the power of one individual's courage could ripple through society, inspiring a collective shift toward love and respect. As the new season approached, anticipation built around how Family Feud would continue to evolve. The producers hinted at exciting new themes and family-oriented challenges that would further explore the diverse fabric of American life. Steve, invigorated by the show's new direction, looked forward to continuing the conversation about faith and respect, knowing that it was a journey worth taking. With renewed enthusiasm, he prepared for the next season, eager to welcome more families into the fold and to celebrate the stories that connected them all. The spirit of unity and understanding that had blossomed from the controversial moment now served as a guiding light, illuminating the path forward for Family Feud. Steve was determined to ensure that every episode reflected the values that had become so crucial to the show's identity: a commitment to love, respect, and the celebration of family in all its forms. As the new season of Family Feud approached, excitement buzzed in the air, not just among the producers and crew, but also among the viewers who had become invested in the evolving narrative of respect and understanding. The show had undergone a remarkable transformation, evolving into a platform for dialogue that transcended the boundaries of entertainment. With every episode, audiences were eager to see how the themes of faith, family, and unity would be woven into the fabric of the upcoming episodes. The anticipation was palpable, and the stakes felt higher than ever. In the weeks leading up to the premiere, promotional campaigns flooded social media, highlighting the new direction of the show. Clips featuring families discussing their diverse beliefs and the importance of mutual respect began to circulate, igniting positive conversations online. Fans expressed their enthusiasm and eagerness, eagerly awaiting the chance to witness how the show would continue to champion the values that had emerged from that fateful episode. The hashtag #FamilyUnity gained traction, symbolizing a collective commitment to fostering understanding in a divided world. Viewers felt a sense of ownership over the show, as if they were part of a larger movement advocating for compassion and connection. On the day of the premiere, the studio was alive with energy and excitement. The set was adorned with vibrant decorations celebrating diversity and inclusion, setting the tone for a season dedicated to respect and community. Colorful banners depicting words like unity, respect, and love hung from the rafters, while the audience filled the seats, buzzing with anticipation for what was to come. Steve stood backstage, taking a moment to gather his thoughts. He felt a sense of responsibility to guide the audience through the upcoming season with compassion and authenticity. The lessons learned from the previous season weighed heavily on his heart, and he was determined to honor that moment by creating an environment that celebrated every voice. As the lights dimmed and the familiar theme music played, the audience erupted into cheers, their excitement palpable. Steve stepped onto the stage, a warm smile illuminating his face as he greeted the viewers at home. Welcome back to Family Feud. Tonight we're starting a brand new season, and I couldn't be more excited. This year we're focusing on respect, love, and the incredible stories that make each family unique. His words resonated with the audience, who responded with enthusiastic applause, eager to embark on this new journey with him. The atmosphere felt charged with hope and potential, as everyone sensed that this season would be something truly special. The first family to take the stage was the Garcias, a vibrant family of 5 who had traveled from California to share their story. As they introduced themselves, it became clear that their journey had not been without challenges. We're here to show that no matter the obstacles we face, our faith and love for each other keep us strong. The matriarch, Maria, shared, her voice filled with emotion. She spoke about their struggles as immigrants, the sacrifices they had made for a better life, and the strength they found in their faith and family bonds. The audience listened intently, captivated by their resilience and warmth. Steve nodded in agreement. That's what it's all about, folks. Family is a bond that transcends everything, he remarked, his enthusiasm infectious. As the game progressed, the energy in the studio was palpable. Contestants laughed, strategized, and celebrated each small victory, creating an atmosphere of camaraderie. Steve made it a point to pause between rounds, inviting families to share anecdotes that highlighted their values and beliefs. Tell me about a time when your family came together to support one another, he would ask, prompting heartfelt stories that often brought tears to the audience's eyes. Each response deepened the connection among the families and the viewers, turning the game into a celebration of shared humanity. One memorable moment came when the Johnson family, originally from the Midwest, shared their story of resilience in the face of adversity. We've had our share of struggles, but it's our faith that brought us through, said David, the father. He recounted how his wife had faced a serious health crisis, and their community had rallied around them during that difficult time. When my wife fell ill, our friends and neighbors came together to support us, showing us the true meaning of family, he said, his voice thick with emotion. The weight of his words brought a hush over the audience as they absorbed the power of community support. Steve, visibly moved, responded, "That's the kind of love that inspires us all. Thank you for sharing that with us." The audience erupted in applause, acknowledging the strength of the Johnson family's bond. The new format not only allowed for entertaining gameplay, but also provided a platform for deeper discussions about faith, resilience, and the importance of family. As the weeks rolled on, the show continued to gain momentum, and more families stepped forward to share their stories. The audience found themselves not just rooting for their favorite contestants, but also connecting with the universal themes of love, respect, and unity that transcended cultural boundaries. Each episode became a tapestry of experiences, weaving together the rich narratives of families from diverse backgrounds. Behind the scenes, the producers were thrilled with the positive response. The ratings soared higher than ever, and viewer engagement on social media reached unprecedented levels. Comments flooded in, with many praising the show for its new direction. Finally, a show that values family and respect. One viewer tweeted, "I love how they're showcasing real stories that matter." The production team recognized that they were tapping into something special, a movement that encouraged people to engage in conversations about their beliefs and values, fostering a sense of community. As the season progressed, Steve continued to champion the importance of understanding. He often incorporated moments of reflection into the show, urging viewers at home to consider their own beliefs and how they could promote respect in their daily lives. "We all come from different backgrounds, but we share a common humanity," he stated during one episode. "Let's celebrate that and lift each other up." His words echoed not just within the walls of the studio, but reverberated across the nation, inspiring viewers to engage in conversations about faith, respect, and the values that bind them together. The season finale loomed on the horizon, and the production team planned a special event to commemorate the journey they had taken together. They decided to host a family unity night, inviting past contestants and their families back to the studio for a celebration of diversity and community. The event would feature performances, heartfelt speeches, and a special segment dedicated to sharing how the show had impacted the lives of its participants and viewers. The anticipation for this event grew as families began to reconnect and share their excitement for coming together once more. As the night of the family unity celebration arrived, the studio was transformed into a vibrant space filled with decorations celebrating various cultures and traditions. Colorful banners hung from the ceiling, and tables were adorned with dishes representing different cuisines, inviting everyone to partake in a feast of flavors. Families from previous episodes arrived, excited to reconnect and share their experiences. The atmosphere was electric, filled with laughter, joy, and the warmth of reunions. Steve kicked off the event with a powerful speech, expressing gratitude for everyone who had participated in the season. Tonight, we're not just celebrating a game. We're celebrating the spirit of family, love, and respect that has brought us all together, he declared. Each one of you has contributed to building a community that values understanding and compassion. And for that, I thank you. His words resonated deeply with the audience, reminding them of the profound impact they had made together. As the evening unfolded, families took turns sharing how their participation in the show had impacted their lives. Tears were shed, laughter echoed, and stories of triumph and resilience were celebrated. It became clear that the show had fostered connections that extended beyond the screen, creating lasting friendships and a network of support among families from different walks of life. One family shared how they had used their experience on Family Feud to inspire their community to come together for charitable initiatives, illustrating the ripple effect of kindness and compassion. One particularly touching moment came when a family shared how they had used the platform of Family Feud to advocate for a local charity that supported underprivileged children. We wanted to show that we can make a difference, and Steve's encouragement gave us the confidence to take action, said Lisa, the mother. The audience erupted in applause, moved by the heartfelt testimony of how a game show had inspired real change in the community. As the night drew to a close, Steve took a moment to reflect on the journey they had collectively undertaken. This season has shown us that when we come together with love and respect, we can accomplish incredible things, he said, his voice filled with emotion. Let's carry this spirit forward and continue to uplift one another in our daily lives. The audience erupted in cheers, and Steve felt a sense of fulfillment wash over him. The impact of their journey was undeniable, and he knew that the conversations sparked by Family Feud would echo far beyond the studio walls. The newfound commitment to respect and understanding had become a movement, one that inspired countless individuals to engage in meaningful dialogue and foster connections in their communities. As the credits rolled on the season finale, Steve looked forward with anticipation, knowing that the next chapter of Family Feud would continue to build on the foundation of love, respect, and family. The stage was set for new stories to be told, new families to be celebrated, and new conversations to emerge, each one a testament to the power of unity in a diverse world. The journey was far from over. It was merely the beginning of a larger narrative that would continue to unfold, inspiring future generations to embrace understanding and compassion as they navigated their own paths. With the new season of Family Feud underway, Steve Harvey felt a renewed sense of purpose and connection to his audience. The previous season's events had ignited a fire within him, motivating him to create a platform where families could share their stories while promoting the values of love, respect, and understanding. However, as the weeks turned into months, The challenges of maintaining this delicate balance between entertainment and meaningful dialogue began to surface. As the show gained popularity, so too did scrutiny from critics who questioned whether a game show could effectively address serious social issues. While many viewers praised the direction of the show for its focus on authentic family narratives, others argued that Family Feud was meant solely for lighthearted fun, not for deep discussions about faith and family values. This backlash reached Steve, and he found himself grappling with the question of whether he had crossed a line by introducing such heavy themes into the inherently lighthearted nature of the game. One evening, after a particularly challenging episode, Steve sat in his dressing room reflecting on the comments he had received. He remembered the heartfelt stories shared by families who had faced adversity and how their experiences had shaped the discussions on the show. It became clear to him that these narratives were not just entertainment. They were a reflection of the real world, filled with triumphs and challenges that resonated deeply with many viewers. He understood that the show had a unique opportunity to foster connections and promote empathy, even amidst the criticism. Determined to remain true to his vision, Steve decided to address the concerns head-on. He scheduled a special episode titled Voices of the People, inviting a panel of guests, including social commentators, faith leaders, and psychologists, to discuss the role of media in shaping public discourse. The episode aimed to explore how television could serve as a catalyst for positive change in society, emphasizing the importance of respectful dialogue in a world often marked by division. The day of the special episode arrived, and the studio was abuzz with excitement. Steve opened the show with a heartfelt monologue, acknowledging the mixed reactions to the previous season. "I understand that not everyone agrees with the direction we've taken," he said, his voice steady and sincere. "But I believe that every story shared on this show has the power to change lives. We may be a game show, but we're also a family, and families discuss important things together." The audience erupted in applause, showing their support for his commitment to the show's new mission. As the panel discussion commenced, the guests shared their perspectives on the impact of media on society. They discussed how shows like Family Feud could highlight diverse narratives, challenge stereotypes, and promote understanding among different communities. One guest, a prominent sociologist, emphasized the importance of storytelling and fostering empathy. "When we hear each other's stories, we begin to understand one another on a deeper level," she stated. "Television has the power to bridge gaps and create connections, especially in times of division." The discussion sparked lively conversations among the panelists, and Steve skillfully guided the dialogue, ensuring that every voice was heard. He asked thought-provoking questions that encouraged the panelists to delve deeper into the nuances of faith, identity, and community. The exchange was dynamic, with passionate arguments and heartfelt stories that resonated with the audience. Viewers at home were captivated, finding themselves drawn into the conversation as they reflected on their own beliefs and experiences. As the episode concluded, Steve thanked the panelists and the audience for their participation, reiterating the importance of respectful dialogue. "I hope tonight's discussion inspires you to engage with others in your communities," he said. "Let's continue to lift each other up and create a world where everyone feels valued and respected." The audience erupted in applause, and the episode became one of the highest-rated shows of the season, proving that there was a hunger for meaningful conversations in entertainment. In the weeks that followed, the show continued to thrive, and the momentum built from the Voices of the People episode carried over into subsequent episodes. Families shared their stories with renewed vigor, and the show featured segments that explored various topics, such as cultural traditions, faith journeys, and the importance of community service. The format encouraged contestants to engage not only in gameplay, but also in discussions about their backgrounds and beliefs, creating a richer viewing experience. One of the most impactful moments came when a family of refugees shared their harrowing journey to America. The father, Ahmed, spoke about the challenges they faced in their home country and the hope that propelled them to seek a better life. "Our faith kept us going, even when things seemed impossible," he said, his voice filled with emotion. The audience listened intently, captivated by the resilience of the family and the strength of their spirit. Steve, moved by their story, responded, "You are an inspiration, and your journey reminds us all of the power of hope and perseverance." As the season progressed, the show became a platform for various charitable initiatives, with families using their time on Family Feud to raise awareness for causes close to their hearts. The producers organized charity events tied to specific episodes, allowing families to share their passions and encourage viewers to contribute to meaningful causes. This initiative further solidified the show's commitment to promoting community and understanding, transforming it into a vehicle for positive change. However, with increased visibility came heightened expectations. As the show gained traction, Steve faced pressure to maintain the balance between entertainment and meaningful discourse. The producers frequently discussed the need to keep the show engaging while also honoring the stories shared by contestants. Steve felt the weight of this responsibility, knowing that families were counting on him to represent their experiences authentically. One evening, after a long day of filming, Steve sat in his office reflecting on the challenges ahead. He understood that the path they were on was fraught with difficulties, but he also realized that the rewards far outweighed the challenges. The impact they were making was undeniable, and he was determined to continue championing the values of respect and understanding. With each episode, he felt a renewed sense of purpose, an opportunity to inspire others and create a legacy of compassion. As the season finale approached, the excitement was palpable. The production team planned a spectacular event, inviting families from past episodes to return and share their journeys once more. The finale would celebrate the stories of resilience, love, and unity that had defined the season. Steve envisioned a night filled with laughter, tears, and inspiration, a fitting conclusion to a transformative season. On the night of the finale, the studio was transformed into a celebration of family and community. Colorful decorations adorned the set, and a sense of joy filled the air. Families reunited, sharing hugs and laughter as they prepared to take the stage once more. Steve opened the show with a heartfelt message, reflecting on the journey they had all taken together. "Tonight, we celebrate not just a game, but the stories that connect us all," he said, his voice filled with emotion. "Thank you for being a part of this incredible journey." As the show progressed, families shared their experiences of joy and heartbreak, triumph and resilience. The audience was captivated by the stories that unfolded, each one a testament to the strength of the human spirit. Laughter echoed through the studio, and tears were shed as families recounted the challenges they had faced and the love that had seen them through. The finale culminated in a powerful segment where families shared how their experiences on Family Feud had influenced their lives. One family, the Martins, spoke passionately about their commitment to community service and how they had started a local initiative to support children in need. "We want to give back to our community, just as we were supported during our hardest times," the mother, Linda, shared, her eyes shining with determination. The audience erupted in applause, inspired by their dedication to making a difference. As the evening progressed, Steve introduced a surprise segment that honored the families who had participated throughout the season. A video montage played on the big screen, showcasing memorable moments, heartfelt stories, and the laughter that had filled the studio. The footage highlighted the diverse backgrounds of the families and the common threads that united them. Their shared experiences of love, struggle, and triumph. As the montage concluded, the audience stood in ovation, a collective expression of appreciation for the stories that had been shared. As the credits rolled, Steve took a moment to reflect on the season as a whole. He knew that the journey was far from over. It was merely the beginning of a larger narrative that would continue to unfold. The stories shared on Family Feud had the power to change lives, spark conversations, and foster understanding in a world that often felt divided. With renewed determination, he looked forward to the future, ready to embrace the challenges and triumphs that lay ahead. After the finale, Steve received an outpouring of messages from viewers who had been touched by the stories shared. Throughout the season, many expressed their gratitude for the show's focus on faith and respect, sharing how it had inspired them to engage with their own communities in more meaningful ways. "Thank you for reminding us of the power of love and understanding," one viewer wrote. "Your show has changed my perspective on so many things." Hearing these sentiments reaffirmed Steve's belief in the importance of the work they were doing. As the production team began planning for the next season, they explored ways to expand on the themes of unity and compassion. Discussions revolved around incorporating more community outreach initiatives and creating opportunities for families to engage in charitable work together. They envisioned special episodes dedicated to highlighting organizations that promoted understanding and support for marginalized communities. The excitement of what lay ahead filled the air, as everyone involved felt a sense of responsibility to continue fostering a culture of respect and empathy. Steve knew that the journey would come with its own set of challenges, but he was ready to meet them head-on. He felt empowered by the support of the audience and the stories shared on the show, which had become a part of the fabric of his own life. With each episode, he grew more confident in the mission they had embraced: to inspire, uplift, and create a space where all voices could be heard. As he prepared for the next season, Steve reflected on the lessons learned from the previous one. He understood that the power of storytelling extended far beyond the confines of the studio. It was a tool for connection, understanding, and healing. With this in mind, he looked forward to the next chapter of Family Feud, eager to continue the journey of celebrating families, fostering respect, and sharing the diverse tapestry of human experience with audiences around the world. As the new season of Family Feud began to take shape, the excitement in the studio was palpable. After a transformative previous season focused on unity and respect, the production team felt a renewed energy that infused every aspect of the show. Steve Harvey, invigorated by the success of the last season, was determined to build on that momentum. His vision was clear: to create an environment where families could share their stories while continuing to promote the values of love, faith, and understanding. In the weeks leading up to the premiere, the production team worked tirelessly to bring together families from diverse backgrounds. They aimed to feature stories that reflected the rich tapestry of American life, ensuring that each episode would highlight the unique experiences of different communities. The casting calls attracted families not just from major cities, but also from small towns, each eager to showcase their heritage and share their narratives. The excitement was infectious, and anticipation grew as filming days approached. One evening, Steve gathered the production team to discuss the overarching themes for the upcoming season. "This year, we're going to focus on personal growth and resilience," he said, leaning forward in his chair with passion. I want to hear stories of how families have overcome obstacles, how they've grown together, and what lessons they've learned along the way. Let's inspire our audience." The team nodded in agreement, energized by his enthusiasm. They brainstormed ideas for segments that would not only entertain, but also resonate deeply with viewers. As the premiere date approached, the promotional campaign kicked into high gear. Social media teasers highlighted the incredible stories that would be featured this season, sparking conversations among fans. The hashtag #TheMustFamilyGrowth began trending as viewers shared their own stories of resilience and transformation, creating a sense of community even before the first episode aired. The excitement in the air was contagious, and Steve couldn't wait to see how audiences would respond to the new format. When the day of the premiere finally arrived, the studio was alive with energy. The set was decorated with bright colors and symbols of growth, like blooming flowers and sturdy trees, signifying the strength that comes from nurturing relationships. The audience filled the seats, buzzing with anticipation and excitement. As the lights dimmed and the familiar theme music played, Steve stepped onto the stage, greeted by raucous applause. "Welcome back to Family Feud. I'm your host, Steve Harvey, and this season is all about growth, resilience, and the incredible power of family," he declared, his voice booming with enthusiasm. The audience erupted in cheers, their excitement reflected in the bright smiles on their faces. Steve felt the familiar rush of adrenaline as he surveyed the crowd. This season was not just another set of games. It was a continuation of a journey they had all embarked on together. The first family to take the stage was the Thompsons, a multi-generational family from Georgia. As they introduced themselves, it became clear that their story was one of overcoming adversity. "We've faced challenges that tested us, but they also brought us closer together," said Lisa, the family matriarch. She spoke about the struggles of raising 4 children as a single mother after her husband's unexpected passing, and how her family rallied around her during that difficult time. "Our faith and each other's support helped us rise above the challenges," she shared, her voice steady but filled with emotion. Steve listened intently, nodding along as Lisa spoke. "That's what family's all about, folks. Supporting each other through thick and thin," he responded, his eyes gleaming with admiration for their strength. The audience applauded, touched by the Thompsons' resilience and the love that bound them together. As the game progressed, the energy in the studio was electric. Contestants laughed and strategized, and Steve made it a point to pause between rounds to encourage families to share anecdotes that highlighted their growth. "Let's take a moment to talk about how you've learned from your experiences," he would prompt, inviting heartfelt stories that often brought tears to the audience's eyes. Each tale deepened the connection among the families and the viewers, turning the game into a celebration of shared humanity. One particularly powerful moment came when the Rodriguez family, who had immigrated from Venezuela, shared their journey of starting anew in America. The father, Carlos, spoke passionately about the sacrifices they made to provide a better life for their children. "We left everything behind, but we brought our dreams and our faith with us," he said. "Every small victory feels like a giant leap forward." His words resonated deeply with the audience, and Steve responded, "You are living proof that perseverance and hope can lead to incredible outcomes. Thank you for sharing your story with us." The audience erupted in applause, inspired by the Rodriguez family's journey. As the weeks rolled on, the show continued to thrive, featuring families who shared not only their challenges, but also their triumphs and the lessons learned along the way. The production team introduced segments that focused on specific themes, such as overcoming fear and the power of forgiveness. encouraging families to delve into their experiences and reflect on how they had grown through adversity. Each episode became a tapestry of experiences, weaving together the rich narratives of families from diverse backgrounds. However, as the season progressed, Steve faced new challenges in maintaining the emotional balance of the show. The stories of resilience often brought tears to his eyes, and he knew that keeping the tone uplifting while addressing serious issues required delicate handling. He spent evenings reflecting on how to navigate these emotional waters, determined to honor the family's stories while still keeping the atmosphere light and engaging. One evening, after a particularly emotional episode, Steve sat down with his production team to discuss the balance between heartfelt storytelling and entertainment. "I want our audience to feel uplifted, not weighed down," he explained. "How do we ensure that we're telling these important stories while keeping the energy high?" The team brainstormed ideas, suggesting humorous segments that could provide comic relief and light-hearted moments in between the more serious discussions. Steve loved the idea and encouraged them to explore creative ways to incorporate humor naturally. Inspired by their discussions, the team devised a new segment for the show called Family Feud Fun Facts, where families could share quirky or funny experiences that reflected their unique dynamics. This would allow families to showcase their personalities while providing a light-hearted counterbalance to the more serious stories. Steve was thrilled with the idea, knowing it would help maintain the show's lively atmosphere. As the season progressed, the news segment quickly became a fan favorite. Families shared everything from hilarious misunderstandings to playful rivalries, allowing the audience to see their lighter sides. The laughter that filled the studio helped create an atmosphere of warmth and connection, reinforcing the idea that while challenges existed, joy could also be found in everyday moments. One memorable episode featured the Johnson family, who shared a funny story about a family game night gone wrong. "We were playing charades, and my uncle got so into it that he accidentally knocked over the lamp," laughed Sarah, the youngest member of the family. The audience roared with laughter as they imagined the scene, and Steve chimed in, "That's the kind of spirit we love. It's those moments that bring families closer together." The balance between heartfelt storytelling and light-hearted fun allowed the show to explore deeper themes while keeping the energy vibrant. Audiences found themselves not only emotionally moved by the stories shared, but also delighted by the humor that punctuated the episodes. Viewer engagement soared, with fans taking to social media to share their own funny family moments, further enriching the sense of community that Family Feud had fostered. As the season drew to a close, the anticipation for the finale grew. The production team planned a spectacular event that would celebrate the stories of resilience and growth that had defined the season. They invited families from previous episodes to return, creating an evening filled with laughter, tears, and inspiration. A fitting conclusion to a transformative season. On the night of the finale, the studio was transformed into a spectacular celebration of family and community. Colorful decorations adorned the set, and a sense of joy filled the air. Families reunited, sharing hugs and laughter as they prepared to take the stage once more. Steve opened the show with a heartfelt message, reflecting on the journey they had all taken together. "Tonight, we celebrate the strength of family and the power of growth," he said, his voice filled with emotion. "Thank you for being a part of this incredible journey." As the evening unfolded, families shared their experiences of joy and heartbreak, triumph and resilience. The audience was captivated by the stories that unfolded, each one a testament to the strength of the human spirit. Laughter echoed through the studio, and tears were shed as families recounted the challenges they had faced and the love that had seen them through. The finale culminated in a segment titled Moments of Impact, where families shared how their experiences on Family Feud had influenced their lives. One family, the Parkers, spoke passionately about their newfound commitment to community service and how they had started a local initiative to support children in need. "We want to give back to our community, just as we were supported during our hardest times," shared Linda, the mother, her eyes shining with determination. The audience erupted in applause, inspired by their dedication to making a difference. As the credits rolled, Steve took a moment to reflect on the season as a whole. He knew that the journey was far from over. It was merely the beginning of a larger narrative that would continue to unfold. The stories shared on Family Feud had the power to change lives, spark conversations, and foster understanding in a world that often felt divided. With renewed determination, he looked forward to the future, ready to embrace the challenges and triumphs that lay ahead. After the finale, Steve received an outpouring of messages from viewers who had been touched by the stories shared throughout the season. Many expressed their gratitude for the show's focus on growth and resilience, sharing how it had inspired them to engage with their own communities in more meaningful ways. "Thank you for reminding us of the power of love and understanding," one viewer wrote. "Your show has changed my perspective on so many things." Hearing these sentiments reaffirmed Steve's belief in the importance of the work they were doing. As the production team began planning for the next season, they explored ways to expand on the themes of unity and compassion. Discussions revolved around incorporating more community outreach initiatives and creating opportunities for families to engage in charitable work together. They envisioned special episodes dedicated to highlighting organizations that promoted understanding and support for marginalized communities. The excitement of what lay ahead filled the air, as everyone involved felt a sense of responsibility to continue fostering a culture of respect and empathy. Steve knew that the journey would come with its own set of challenges, but he was ready to meet them head-on. He felt empowered by the support of the audience and the stories shared on the show, which had become a part of the fabric of his own life. With each episode, he grew more confident in the mission they had embraced: to inspire, uplift, and create a space where all voices could be heard. As he prepared for the next season, Steve reflected on the lessons learned from this one. He understood that the power of storytelling extended far beyond the confines of the studio. It was a tool for connection, understanding, and healing. With this in mind, he looked forward to the next chapter of Family Feud, eager to continue the journey of celebrating families, fostering respect, and sharing the diverse tapestry of human experience with audiences around the world.